Hello, and welcome to the Monster Hunter World Struggle. So, some time ago, Joey and I are sat in Discord going through our Steam games to see what we both have, and that was also multiplayer for potential future videos. I don't remember all of what led up to this, what the chain of events was, but it ended up with me on the Steam store page for Monster Hunter World, and I saw that it was on sale for only $20. For the sake of context, I'm not what you would call a fan of Monster Hunter. Even before recording the game for this video, World is the only Monster Hunter I've ever played, and before this time I've really only put maybe half an hour to a full hour into it. I didn't like it. And this was at least a few years ago. I figured, maybe after all this time, my opinion might have changed. Hell, that's happened to me for at least one or two games or books. What you're about to see are the results of us deciding to try and record this game together. Oh, and just right up top, I kind of want to also mention, apparently my PC just isn't good enough to play and record this game at the same time without some amount of lag, even if I, lower the game settings, but it is what it is. You're probably going to notice some stuttering and frame drops throughout all the gameplay footage. I apologize in advance if that ends up being obnoxious.
What are we doing, Jordan?
I have made a terrible financial decision. Well, I say terrible, but it was on sale for half off. So I only spent after tax $16 on this. Not including, you might notice on the top right, massive expansion DLC, Iceborne, available now. Purchased from Steam Store. Let's see how the base game goes. There's plenty to do in the base game. We went on to how long to beat, and we saw how long Monster Hunter World typically is, just the base game, and we decided, that's long enough. We'll see how this goes.
There's plenty to see. I have played this. When you cut to my side, you can tell.
This is a fresh download for me. I have played a tiny bit of this game before, back on Joey's Xbox, however many years ago. I played
it's when it first released, too.
I think this game came out
a week-old game.
2018, I think? I don't know.
And you barely played an hour of it?
I played, not even an hour. I remember going on one of the first ever quests, and I really do not like how, the monster you're supposed to fight or whatever, you dink him 50 fucking times and nothing happens and he runs away. But I am willing to give this another shot. I am willing to give Monster Hunter another shot.
Some of these bosses, which there's probably going to be some cuts and some jokes where you won't hear our audio, but this is where we're going to shorten it out because starting monsters are not fun to watch fight.
The next ground your feet will touch will be that of the new world.
Is that Richard Epcar? Hey, tell us your name. Time to make my guy.
Oh my goodness.
You're gonna see my palico and it's gonna be like, wow, that's the most basic bullshit ever.
To the A-list!
God, this is the start. This is the start of almost every D&D campaign I've run. It starts with a ship and shit goes wrong.
I forgot I had this DLC, and when you cut to me, you're probably gonna laugh. But my handler, because I have outfits for my handlers.
Yeah.
One of them's called Terrifying Tyrant.
Bruh.
Alright, time to choose a weapon.
The long sword is a close-range weapon designed for cutting attacks.
Nice triangle, the base attack. What?
Power. Two forms, sword and axe. Store up energy in a vial, then release it through the axe. The light bowgun is a lightweight ranged weapon that's great for quick attacks and maneuverability. The heavy bowgun is a high-powered ranged weapon. Does a lot of damage and lets you use more power.
Shift tab.
You might also just be able to join on me.
Join game. You have not unlocked this part of the story. You cannot join.
All right, you might have to wait a little bit. I wonder.
Talk to handlers.
Can I
What I
join
gotta go
you?
We will go with the fish platter.
Usually,
they got a whole fucking cutscene too.
What? Yeah, but that one I think is skippable if you click. I think start.
I'm gonna watch the cats make me a fucking fish thing.
All right. Usually for the meal recommendations, usually chef's choice. For like in the beginning, because you have no like ingredients to make your own meals.
Checking connection to the network.
Oh, you're finally getting to the point where you could possibly join on me?
Fine work taking down those basic bitches. There's different trees I can go down. Defender tree, ore tree, bone tree.
This is why 100% takes 300 plus hours.
Party members 1 of 1.
You just go ahead and start it because I can't join until you watch all the cutscenes in the fucking game.
Another issue with co-op is that I have to initiate a quest solo if it has a new cutscene that I haven't seen yet. I don't know why, but that's how it is, I guess.
So.
Loading quest.
Ah!
A great Jagras came through. Also, thanks, game, for booting me over here while I was taking 20 seconds to go pick up some fire herbs. We need to take this thing down. All right. As soon as
I'm on my way.
All right, partner. New assignment incoming.
I'm on the way. You can go ahead and start trying to fight it.
Footprints, for example.
And if you're a good hunter, you'll kill it before I get there and waste all my time.
Hey, I see you.
See me just casually standing next to this thing?
Monster if you use the focus camera.
Oh, I can murder now?
Hold on. Special ammo.
I merely broke his face. What's up?
Main objective done.
If you cut to my screen, it looks so much better. See? Cut the time in half, Jordan. I really could have killed that before you even got here.
Yeah, let me wipe my brow. So, there are a few things I do want to mention here. I didn't know this at the time of recording, but having multiple players on the same quest will boost the health of monsters in the area. Okay, that's fair. I can see the wisdom in that. If it didn't, I may not have been able to really even get a single shot in there on the Great Jagras. But even with Joey playing his character that has endgame gear, it still takes a minute to kill the thing. You can see here, he's consistently hitting it for about 90 damage a swing, and it still takes a hot minute to kill, even with my chip damage just kind of sprinkled on top there. Not nearly as long as if I had done it on my own with starter gear, but it still is kind of a somewhat meaty health pool to chew through. I suppose monsters do keep some of their menace even when you're at a higher level, especially on multiplayer, which on paper I can appreciate that. In my head, I keep trying to come up with an argument for why all of this is a bad thing, since, spoiler alert, I still don't like Monster Hunter. But the only thing I could really think of that might still be a fair argument, at least it sounds like it to me, is that since Joey's playing an endgame character, I get the impression that multiplayer is one of the better ways to first experience Monster Hunter, but it might not be the best for me in this context. I get to chip in, but Joey basically does all the damage, and that's not particularly fun for me. But if we're both playing a brand new character, these fights are going to take way fucking longer, and that's the last thing I want. even with Joey taking most of the aggro and dealing most of the damage, these fights are still taking a bit longer than I would prefer. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. And that right there is my biggest hurdle with Monster Hunter. The start, for me, the start is just way too slow. And taking a buddy along who's already beaten the game does speed things up considerably, but it's not fun for me to feel like I'm doing nothing. And buddy, it fucking felt like I wasn't doing anything to any big things we were hunting together. I'm not gonna tell Joey to not help me out. What the fuck would be the point of him even being there if I did? And all of this just kind of continued and snowballed with every monster we hunted together. The way I see it, I have 3 different options for playing this game for the first time. Starting from the bottom solo, both of us together starting from the bottom, or how we did it, because he's got an endgame character and I've never played this game before. I think doing it as we did, out of the 3 options I see myself having here, I feel like that was probably the most potentially fun option, but consistently still wasn't much fun at all for me. Combine all of that with, some smaller, jankier issues, like, he can't join me unless I've seen the cutscenes already, which is kind of dumb. I don't know why they did that. Also, not being able to skip cutscenes unless you've seen them already. Have I mentioned that? I think that's kind of stupid. I don't know. I suppose, really the only thing I have left to say about this is that all of this experience has just reaffirmed my original opinion of Monster Hunter World, or just Monster Hunter in general, that, nah, this ain't the series for me. No, thank you. I have no further interest in playing it or anything like that. I think this is where my experience with Monster Hunter is gonna end. About 5 hours in total on World, and that's where I'm gonna draw the line. So, yeah. If you watched this far and like what you saw, then consider leaving a like on the video, or hell, maybe even subscribing if you haven't already and want to see more from me. I do have a Patreon link below if you want to throw some money my way. Every little bit helps. Even just watching and liking the video is very, very much appreciated, helps more than you know. Though pledging on Patreon is the most direct and helpful method. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.